bad placements with no kills. Not something we have seen at all ever in any competition from FaZe is bad placements and no kills. So now it's up to Liquid to fend off Vitality, both having a poor game last game. So it is now a real battle for second and third place, with even fourth place in contention now as well.
And we see that, Liquid and also Vitality are a lot closer to FaZe than they can think, because especially Vitality from that third place position, they're very much in the inches of difference when it comes to the difference between them and Liquid. So these two, number 2 and number 3, coming in to try to catch FaZe to grab that number 1 spot. They're going to have to get a win, but with the wins, they have to get lots of kills with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Liquid, they need to go back to that day 1 success if they're going to try and catch up to FaZe. They're going to need to frag out of their minds right now, and that's just not something that's been happening for them. That is the second game where they've gone out with 0 kills. So this is going to be an important, pivotal game now, as this will be one of the deciding matches for Liquid's fate in this tournament. And for Vitality, they're in the same boat. They need to really step it up, try and survive. They're headed back down to Milta as we get a nice central plane path moving from left to right.
And we see Vitality going to Milta, but we also see FaZe going back to what we saw a little bit of back when in Korea. Going to StarLadder and Kameshki. We haven't seen them do many of these strats, mostly heading towards Milta Power. So this time, 2-2 split around StarLadder and Kameshki is what they opted for this time around. So the rotation will definitely be a little bit more different compared to the Milta Power rotation, where they do make their northern way.
This is a very smart play from FaZe. They have completely changed their drop pattern. This is something that we would have expected to see from them, because right now what they're doing is they're avoiding any level of hot drop capability. They're not going to be able to get ambushed here, so they're going to rotate up to Kameshki to avoid any issues if anyone decided to drop on top of them. So this is a smart and very needed play for FaZe.
It really is, and we're going to see the first knock and possibly the first kill coming in from Myth, GOL, Obang. Another team that hasn't really found too much success, and we've seen this repeated over and over again, where GOL found very much their early exit with one of their teammates going down, making their team a little bit less stronger when it comes to getting into the late game. We're going to get to the usual path of what Liquid usually likes to see with this Western Circle.
Yes, this is a circle we've seen a few times this tournament with a left-centered zone in the west. So this is going to be a good thing for Atletico, Tempo Storm, and to an extent Vega as well.
Really is, and Liquid, they found the most amount of success definitely in day 1 with these Western Circles heading towards their area. Mostly we found them kind of traveling north after farming out Yasnaya, and they're going to go down to kind of the northern side of this current circle, as you see. Myth is going to be taking some shots, and hey, that's actually connect into one of the members. Bang coming down, getting knocked for the second time.
So GOL just having an absolutely rough tournament, still unable to break that 1,000 point milestone. I believe it will come in this game, but for now they are essentially a farming team where anyone who comes across them will become immediately aggressive, and we see here Obang looking to be eliminated very early in this game.
And let's talk about some little questions that I can ask you, Moses. We're gonna see Liquid kind of try to repeat, what they saw from themselves in day 1 by going towards the northern part of the circle, by coming from Yasnaya. But this time it's a little bit different. That FaZe, they're gonna be up in the StarLadder and Kameshki area, and the routes may interfere with each other during the rotation.
So we've seen in these circles a lot of very dense center zones where teams cluster around the center of the map. That allows Liquid to sneak in through that Razak area where there is no pressure. Now they will probably try and replicate this. It is GOL and Myth between them, so not the highest fragging team standing between them in a center zone. So in this particular instance, Ifty will be able to come up from the south on the military base. But for Liquid, getting through unopposed in this first transition is going to be very important for the success in the mid game.
It really is. And FaZe, when do they start moving? Are they going to move at the same time Liquid does? We're going to see a very important interaction between the current number 1 and number 2, if that does happen. Vitality is going to be the kind of one really alone when it comes to the top 3. Down there in Milta, really finding a less opposition from the top 2. But We're going to see still kind of keep our focus on the military base. Atletico is going to find the first crate of the game with AUG coming in with all these ammos that you do need to move forward with this.
Yeah, the AUG is a nice pickup here, but for Atletico, it's been a difficult tournament as well, still adjusting to the level of competition they are facing. They do have a nice spot in Pachinki, so that is going to be a decent hold for them. The remnants of GOL still driving around nearby. October, Zhaozhou, and Tavello all there. Myth also in Razak. So Liquid already starting their rotation coming down through the middle of the map. Samty going to try and sneak into a probably compound here, scouting for his team. LG also in vehicles, moving towards Gatka. I imagine this is where they're going to be calling home for this tournament.
And take a look at this team. You know, let's talk about LG for just a little bit. Days 1, 2, and 3 has been kind of a disastrous team for such high expectation coming in. We always talk about the kind of the disappointment that came with such a high expectation, but day 4, they've seen a lot more light and bright lights have shown upon this team. What do you think the change was coming into day 4?
LG has a tremendous following in Brazil, and that in South America in general, the only representing team from South America. It's really been a period of adjustment for them, and it has been slow going trying to catch up to this first-person meta. I did have a chance to talk to Teknosh before this game started as well as this day started, and he did mention that they didn't have a lot of time to scrim, unable to really practice in this format, and it is very reflective of their performance. So for them, it's really a learning experience, but also a fun experience, and I know that they have a ton of fans out there likely disappointed with their performance, but this is likely just the beginning for a team who's still learning this format.
And the fans should be a lot happier for obviously their improvement in their performance in day 4, as they many of us are. Of course, we wanted Luminosity to always do well, but good to see them finally pick it up. But we see Myth coming from Thailand, another team a little bit surprising to the fact that such a small region and a region that's not really talked about, also making a big impact onto this tournament so far.
Yeah, for Thailand, this is a first representation in a PUBG tournament. They've done all right in some games, but otherwise have also been facing difficulty with competition here. But really, these are the best teams in the world, and I personally would not want to be on the field with them either.
You know that, you're a great player yourself, but this is a different level when it comes to competitive play, and obviously individual player does not automatically translate into successful result. We've seen that with many teams in the past. Teamwork is going to be the key here, and we're going to see this circle trying to get a little bit closed in. A lot of people have already made themselves within the central part of this circle, and once again, we see a southern cluster which is very, very similar to what we've seen from very similar circles in the past.
I imagine there's probably an overturned motorcycle around there somewhere. The poor guy's all by himself. But for now, this is LG rotating. Vampire Game down by himself. And looks like he has been spotted by Teknosh. Will just come on over and finish that off. I suppose he might have been down, but that will be a nice pickup here for LG, grabbing that level 3 helmet, probably the best item in the game. So for him, this is going to be a nice start so far. LG slow and steady.
Luminosity feels good with that one kill they grabbed onto Vega, but more importantly, they're still split out 2-2. I wonder how that reflects to the mid to the late game, as so many teams are already clustered into the central part of the current circle. So Pachinki is going to be very much occupied here, and you see the Teknosh and 9X going to be the central part of this current screen you see here. The other two are still coming from South Georgia, but they're driving now towards that area, but most importantly, Liquid. Let's keep our eyes on them, because right now the 3 members of Liquid trying to get their positions, while Ibiza is going to be the 4th member still down in Yazaya.
So he's going to be staying behind, likely collecting more meds and ammo for his team. Liquid has established a foothold in the center of the zone. However, they are still split. Looks like they're going to be holding 2 separate compounds here. I believe Jeems and Scoom are going to move southern in the zone. They're going to try and hedge their bet to decide where, if the circle goes north or south, that they'll still be in the safe zone with a held compound. Looking at Myth now, taking a shot at Profi across the way in a nice spot around the Gatka region. Myth holding this little farm spot. I like this hold for them, but they do need to be aware of Avantgarde nearby as well.
And another team that is taking the hold is Avantgarde, coming from the CIS region, the home advantage team, with StarLadder being held in Ukraine. I'm sure Avantgarde and also Vega Squadron feeling very good about participating in this tournament in general, but Avantgarde obviously, kind of disappointing to the fact that they didn't really perform to their maximum potential in days 1 and 2, but really performing a lot better in day 3, and we expect them to try to kind of eke out the rankings and trying to rival that number 4 to number 3 spot.
This is something we've seen a few times for Avangard where they're kind of up and down. I was kind of hoping to see them hold that bridge camp. We're seeing Frolicker. Looks like these two North American teams in C9 and Tempo are going to meet. And Dre going down.
It really is, and we see the shots coming in. Sharp shooting from Frolicker coming from C9, just winning the chicken dinner in this previous round. Feeling great about their current position on the top of the hill. Dre does go down. It's going to be Zampa going for the res here. We do see the corner of the house. Not going to be spotted by C9 at the moment, but a great knock makes the C9 moving forward feel a lot greater.
This high ground position is nice for C9. Now, typically what we'll see from teams is if they do find an advantage in a knock, that they would press the attack and try and take a compound away. But for C9, they don't want to get too overzealous in any aggression against Tempo Storm. C9 coming off a victory is looking to try and solidify their standing here. So just trading weapons, ammo, and meds, the support players getting ready for an engagement here as they're going to try and hold this nice spot in the center of the zone.
And this is a very important scene that we're watching here. FaZe coming in from their Stolberg-Kameshki split location. Now they're going to be in their vehicles, making their rotation. They did make themselves southern part of Yasnaya. They didn't cross the bridge away from Severny area, but they just opted for the southern rotation. Now they're going to be on the edge of the circle with Mixie. Hexeti's going to be the last one joining in, but mostly FaZe coming in safely on this first circle.
Yeah, FaZe finishing their loot run. I kind of expected them to come north. TSM opting for that route themselves. They will be rotating along full strength in their vehicles. Going to probably come down through the Georgia Pole area. We see Vitality also in shift coming out of Milta. They did not change their game plan through the early game so far. Maybe opting to get to the Yellow Cabins or coastal area, but taking a few shots from Entis. Vitality needs to have a good game here.
Vitality is looking for a huge this game because 2 games, if they perform really, really well with all the other top 2 teams not performing so well, could see a little bit of shake onto the standings because they're not too far apart. But Vitality, obviously, coming from last week, not finishing top 3 in Katowice was, to them, is a little bit of a disappointment in themselves, being such a highly standardized team. But, you know, Vitality, they can have a good game here. They can have a good game in the next one, in the final match. We can see this table kind of start to shake up.
Yeah, for Vitality, they have a long body of work of consistency, as we do see a circle shift to the south, including the channel to the military island. So for now, it is going to be a very dense center zone. Liquid now moving towards Skoom. They have decided that they want to center around Skoom, but they are going to intermingle right on top of Vitality. So moving through that, it looks like they won't have an engagement popping off just yet, but for Liquid, they're going to try and form up and stay 4 strong here as this rotation phase is beginning. FaZe also on the move. Entis jumping in their vehicles. This is where the pressure starts to mount.
It really is. A lot of people are going to be traveling past that northern area of the circle currently at the moment. Temeria trying to get on his vehicle along with Sungjang. He's just going to be staying himself onto the safe zone that they have managed to get themselves into. But Liquid finally reorganizing themselves, reuniting together with FaZe. Also, you see moving down onto the top side of the map. And Ifty, Entis Ace, FaZe going to be the kind of the trio surrounding this triangle here.
Yeah, the late braking vehicle for FaZe getting a little bit of pressure, but for now it sounds like IFTY is just shooting down, actually away from Entis. I believe that I thought they were going to engage with Entis there, but yeah, they're shooting down at Atletico, trying to escape Pachinki. So now Entis will be aware of Ifty up on this little ridge. This is a nice hold spot, but it looks like Ifty is not ready to stay there just yet.
And FaZe just very happy that they made this early entrance successful, and now they're in this next safe zone without much worry. We saw FaZe mostly playing around the edges and traveling short distances to make their path onto the next circles to come. But FaZe, you know, consistency, this team has been all about that, and that has been the definition onto their dictionary.
Well, people talk about luck and RNG in this game, but really FaZe is the master of reducing that kind of risk, and they almost make the right decision every time, it feels like. Even just with their early game decision making, opting to completely change their loot strategy, moving to a spot like Kameshki, where in a 1x AR environment, they are likely going to be under geared, having to rotate on vehicles late, having to choose the right path in. It seems that they have done their homework, have done the right kind of decisions, are making the right kind of decisions, and are finding themselves in first place. This this is something we don't see, this level of consistency from other teams.
And something that's consistent always about FaZe is that they always send Yempty down onto that little bit of vehicle rotation to get very extended vision that helps the other 3 members move forward. And just the masterful driving that we saw Yempty do with his vehicles on his scouting effort has been the kind of the key to providing just a wider spectrum of vision for FaZe to find success upon.
So now this is where we see TSM sometimes get in trouble. They have the lead vehicle in break. They are now rotating into the zone. They have an edge compound available, but they are going to take the longest possible route. I think that they might decide to come in around the area where Vega and Tempo are situated. So if they decide to continue, move over this hill and come in on the southwest side of the zone, they should be able to find a nice little hold there. But this is a situation where TSM is often caught in their vehicles and killed, so it's a matter of making this transition safely for TSM.
You see Liquid being featured here on this screen here. Ibiza along with Samty and Scoom is going to be moving up as trios, but you're going to see James, the only person that's kind of away from the rest of the trio, is going to be looking for extended vision on his way. But let's see shots going left and right between Cloud9 and Liquid. Ibiza trying to fire back with the Car 98, but really not much kill is to be expected here with C9 having such a safe position to have.
Moody wise not to hold that peak onto James. He doesn't want to take any Car 98 shots and have his armor or helmet destroyed. So for now, it's just going to be a bit of a staring match between Ibiza and the rest of C9. So I'm happy with Liquid's positioning here. They have a nice little divot. They have their vehicles protected, low and high ground positions available. This is a very pivotal game for Liquid, and they have to deliver.
And while we somewhat kind of expected that some of these lower tier teams in the bottom of the table should make some kind of the crazy action per se of trying to ruin the hopes of the top teams, that really hasn't been the case with this final day 4, as we see 58 still alive with this next circle opening up.
Well, in the competitive PUBG scene, hot dropping is considered a BM or bad manners, whatever you want to call it. It's a situation where you're essentially trying to ruin the chances of another team because you simply can't win. It's unsportsmanlike, but again, this is Battlegrounds. There are no rules. You can do whatever you like. So for now, we have not seen that behavior.
I think we want to see the Vitality and Liquid, the fight that's happening around. You see them on the mid. So much is actually happening, and this might be a huge difference. And Roxy going down, Monkey going down as well. Shadow getting hit from the other side by James, and that's a great angle for Liquid to kind of surround Vitality on a weak angle right now.
2 quick downs for Liquid. They have Vitality on the ropes. There's going to be no res opportunity right now, so that was a huge pickup for Liquid. This is a fight they must win between 2 teams who are battling at the top of the leaderboards. The grenades are coming out. So for now, 4AM has been eliminated by C9, but this is all about Liquid and Vitality. This could be huge for the implications at the top of the leaderboard.
And we really should get back the camera back onto Liquid and Vitality because the fight is not over yet. You talk about Liquid currently in number 2 position. They want to get number 1, but in order to do that, they have to get the kind of tail off of their trails. And because kind of Vitality is so close onto their tracks, they have to wipe out Vitality and think about FaZe on a later stage.
Liquid has not pressed just yet. They do know that there are still players around them. They can hear the footsteps. Ibiza is holding a dangerous spot on top of this roof. He could be spotted. So Araxi has gone down. So a res did come out. Liquid not pressing the advantage yet, playing a little bit conservatively. James holding the angle on Shadow, but James now taking damage as well, and they have lost Scoom. Their IGL is out of the game. So it is a 3v3 situation. The advantage with those 2 downs has been lost.
It really has. The hard rush that we typically would have seen from day 1 Team Liquid has definitely not been there, as we do see the 2 knocks really not leading to much benefits for this team, trying to wipe out kind of Vitality is their mission here, but Ibiza kind of healing himself with the first aid kit. But like I said, 3v3 makes it even once again, and even ground for either team to pick up the victory again.
They have no opportunity to trade. Vitality is pressing onto Ibiza. Ibiza coming onto the roof. Vitality looking for the kills here. This is huge right now. They have no ability to trade. One does go down for Vitality. Now it's up to Monkey.
The Samty from distance really makes that count and gets the knock onto Shiv, and also Shadow going down. So this is the time finally for Liquid to make the hard push without scare. Vitality goes down in 14th, and that is a huge loss when it comes to the 2 games left remaining that this team really needed a big round on this one.
Vitality went at it with Liquid, and they came up short, going down in 14th place. Liquid will stay in this game. They did lose Scoom, but that is a terrible result for Vitality, who now could potentially lose that 3rd place.
And the team that will be smiling the hardest will be FaZe, who will be paying attention to that kill score and that kill feed, showing us that it has been Liquid and Vitality fighting against each other with casualties coming left and right. Liquid with 3 men and Vitality no more makes FaZe and FaZe clan just as a whole feel much more comfortable in getting to the late game.
And now it's TSM versus C9. C9 already picking up a squad wipe. TSM coming in a little bit late here. The Fairy Pier area is going to be a very important spot to hold. Liquid is still centered, but we are having a lot of water in this next zone. So it's going to be a choice. Our team's going to opt to enter the water for placement. We see FaZe already there. Now this transition is going to be very important to dictate the rest of this match. If it shifts north, this is going to be huge for teams like Liquid, TSM, Avangar, and it will shift onto TSM and Liquid, so most of the water will come out. So those who chose to dive in are going to have a hard transition getting out. So it's going to be up to Liquid holding FaZe without taking any more casualties.
And this might be the very most important thing to really track here. Liquid with 3 men, they have to defend against the 4 swimmers of FaZe clan, as we do see them very, very close to where their current tracks are at. Obviously, they saw the kill feed coming down. Killing out Vitality is a good news for them, but they have very little idea as to Liquid's current location so far. So you just can't be in a situation where you're so less underprotective of the fact that you still have to be careful in how you make your movements.
So looking now, we have Tempo engaged with LG. LG not aware of the fact that that blue zone is silhouetting them through the smoke. So the utility coming out from Valiant, that's going to be huge for them. They're trying to pick up a res right now. LG not allowing that to happen. Actually, that's Vega they're still shooting at. Teknosh engaged on 2 fronts now, so Vega going down. So LG is trying to take it to Tempo Storm, and this is going to be a very big fight. Tempo Storm still at the top of the leaderboard, but taking any casualties to LG would be a huge issue.
And really, we see a lot of aggression coming from these 2 teams that have lacked aggression from the first 2 days, but you saw kind of the X going down from that grenade. I wonder if the last member of LG is still left alive, but more importantly, I'm going to go back to the tracks of Tempo, who did kind of win out that fight initially because Teknosh is still alive, which means the last man is left standing. Is Teknosh going to really back off here as we see GOL being eliminated already? But it's really important to track the top teams as we keep following their tracks to see how their progress is.
Teknosh is actually a thorn in the side of Tempo right now. Zampa trying to get him down, but he has basically made it so Tempo had to waste a bunch of time getting reses after that battle with LG. Now the zone is at their backs. Teknosh cannot take a 3v1. He would likely be eliminated, so for his own team's sake, he's having to run away, but that has put enough pressure onto Tempo, and the downs have come on as well. So Tempo has taken a lot of damage here, and this is up now to TSM to defend the best spot in the zone.
If T and Avangar, we might see this rotation happening. The encounter is very much likely to happen. Aaron Siegel's going to look for a peek here. Keen is going to be having his eyes open on that one. The headshots coming through, putting a lot of damage, but the shot coming from the other side. So a plus fumble and the rest of IFT, a masterful play, playing that rotation to make sure they're surrounded in all areas, and the 2 members of Avangar goes to 0.
Absolutely. So that was a huge, huge loss for Avangar. Their woes continue here through this second to last game. So for Liquid, they are plinking away at IFTY, far away, trying to pick up some more kills here. That is going to be a nice little pickup for some kills here. It's still up to Liquid to maintain this position. They have 5 kills to their name, and they are looking down at FaZe as well. So with FaZe in the water, this could be the issue that FaZe is going to face, is trying to exit. So if FaZe goes out here early, Liquid might have a shot at that #1 spot once again.
There's still 11 teams left remaining in this game. So in case FaZe goes out maybe at 11th or maybe 10th even, that's going to be huge news for Liquid, currently in a good position moving forward. You see all about the kills that have been lacking in the past, really in this day. It's going to kind of slowly come forward, especially with the Vitality win that they had against the French. But 5 kills is looking good for this team that really lacked aggression that was very much needed.
So looking at this next transition, this is going to decide whether Liquid has to move or not. It may go to TSM, it may go to Liquid, and it will go to Liquid. So this is going to be a nice, easy circle for Liquid coming up here. Now TSM is going to have to push onto C9 if they want to get that dominant position. FaZe still in the water, not a lot of options to enter. It looks like they're going to have to just try and stay alive right now. FaZe opting to play passively here, but that is the best decision they can make.
That's the best decision, but not the best decision overall. With being on the shore does not provide you with much cover. If your opponents can get a sight on you from the side and even from the flank, where Liquid is at the moment, Atletico is going to be around them as well. But most importantly, it's going to be Liquid versus FaZe. FaZe, can they keep their position with the 3-man squad they have left remaining? 4-man squad they have left remaining. But more importantly, Liquid, FaZe, which of these teams can get a better defensive position to move forward? But Ifty after getting shot by James on the flank here from distance, trying to get some knocks that came through, but really didn't lead to much kills. We're going to see Samty make the initial strikes onto FaZe. Hexeti's going to be knocked off here just a little bit, but not really going down for a full knock. So a little bit of breather for FaZe.
That was a headshot from Samty onto that player from FaZe. I believe that was Hax.
Hexeti, yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be a damaged or destroyed helmet as Ifty trying to make a transition here, getting down by James. Here comes another one. Now the pressure starting to mount. James actually may go down here, so he has to be careful. This is a nice building, but lots of sight lines inside. Atletico pressing from the rear, so now Tempo having to press into TSM. Now TSM is going to have to move, and they are going to be pinched between C9 and the pressing Tempo.
You saw Technosh going down, being the last member, which means that LG is out of there, but let's track our backs onto TSM, trying to get the fish out of the water, but more importantly, TSM, they still have to make their movement, as you say. Vis is kind of in the circle already with the other 2 members trying to make themselves in, but the 4 members of TSM at the moment trying to get some kill points onto their tracks, and Tempo might be on their path when it comes to the menu available for TSM.
Hexeti has drowned, so that is going to be now TSM trying to fend off the approach. Zanpa is right behind TSM. Smack is behind that fence. He cannot see him. But now C9 is also making some noise. Tempo getting inside. Now it's going to be Zampa pressing the flank.
And Smack is going to be on the side here to get the kill right onto Zampa, who's going to be the lead fragger for this Tempo Storm squad. But importantly, Break is going to be res here, which means a 4-man squad will return for the side of TSM. So Tempo has to be a little bit more careful as they do, but it's going to be very important to see the 2 members of Tempo Storm, how they're going to make this entrance and how they're going to make it count.
So the water now playing a huge factor. TSM was able to get that trade. Zampa going down. Tempo opting to go to the water here to save for placement. IFTY and Myth on the northern end of the zone. Now this is likely where we will see the water adjust if we're lucky. So now it's going to decide what happens to all those in the water, as there are a ton. A small amount of water will remain and all the cover will come out. But Liquid is going to have the Wizard Tower still inside. So they're going to likely have to pile in there, and they will have a clear view of the beach where they will be able to pick up a ton of kills. This is exactly what Liquid needs.
And this is so much action that's going back and forth between these top 2 teams that we've been tracking of this entire time. Liquid's trying to just get more kills onto the compound that they're still in the safe end. So more importantly, Mixie and the rest of FaZe trying to get some kills onto these Atletico members. A great grenade coming in from FaZe, and that's going to be a huge one to move their momentum with. And Yempty, Mixie, and along with FaZe finding success in clearing out Atletico.
So what FaZe has done is taken landfall first. They are now all out of the water, and they have no line of sight from Liquid. So they're going to be able to hold everyone inside the water. They've already picked up a ton of kills. TSM still jockeying for position with C9. The circle about to transition. This fight will happen. C9 will have to leave the building. It's going to be a matter of time between TSM and C9 having to face off.
Now, while TSM is quite far behind the leaderboard, I think they really would appreciate a chicken dinner, and they might look for it, but it's going to be halted down by C9, making a huge amount of plays. 3 knocks coming in from Cloud9, and TSM doesn't know how to fire back, and Smack, it has just had nowhere to go on this one, and TSM will be eliminated.
That is another 8th place finish for TSM. A tough loss there for them. They did not get the trades they needed. C9 having a little bit more fragging power on their side, wiping TSM. So now it's going to be a matter of beating the zone. Myth and Ifty battled at the top. FaZe holding everyone in the water. Liquid 3 strong in the Wizard Tower. This is going to be another situation where we may see FaZe and Liquid facing off in the top 5.
It really is, and we're going to talk about the northern part of what you see in the screen here. Obviously, FaZe FaZe going to be looking towards the water to get the fish out of the water to get some free kills on their way. But Liquid, they have to look for Myth on the left side, and C9 is going to be joining in that fray as well. So it's very important for Liquid. Can they get some additional kills here? Myth is out in the open and really giving free kills onto Liquid for nice points get at them today.
This is exactly what Liquid needs. Free kills for Myth. They're out in the open. They have no cover. They've spent too much time just running around. So now Myth is going to go down here. Samty picking up yet another kill. This is huge for Liquid. They need to maintain this pace here, but it looks like they're going to be able to wipe Myth if they're lucky, and they will. So that's going to be Myth eliminated. And still C9 having a small ridge to work with, but I don't believe they're in the safe zone yet.
This is such a memoir, Moses, of what we saw from day one Liquid. They are back. 10 kills to the total tracks they have, as Team Liquid still holds their very strong position in this Wizard Tower, and that will be a huge momentum going forward as they still look out to rival FaZe.
This isn't enough, however, because FaZe is still alive, and they will be picking up kills as those who are in the water, unless they decide to all ground themselves to deny the kill points, which is honestly a very real possibility. These guys know that they want to take away as many points from FaZe as possible, but however, Entis, I'm sure you know, is not one to back away from the fight and essentially suicide in the water. So we'll see here what happens with FaZe, but the less kill points is better for Liquid. But essentially for FaZe, they're playing smart and they've positioned themselves to do a lot of damage here. So it's a bit of a peaking battle right now between FaZe and Liquid. They're well aware of each other's presence, as this zone is going to force Liquid and FaZe into the center play zone on the beach with zero cover.
Now, FaZe Clan does definitely have much more assignments to cover, as they do have to look out for the water to try to pick out some heads and do a little whack-a-mole to get some more kills, in addition to watching out for Liquid on the other side. But they still have to make a little bit of movement before they can get out of there to get to the safe. But they can't really move without all these people that are still in the water that could strike them from the back.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll be able to get. They just like, when you make landfall like this first, this is important when you see a water-centered circle where people decide to try and get placement by sending people into the water. Those who make landfall first typically clean up everybody, so they're going to have to try and fish with dynamite. You see the first nade coming out. They just can't get on land. Tempo will not be able to do so, but at the same time, they're now knocking people who have to come up for air. This is a situation that is disastrous for everyone who's in the water.
And you see C9 with Moody making the first move, and Solid FPS is going to join him with it. Going to be distance away, and that's going to be a huge shot coming in from Moody, getting the first knock onto Samty, and that's going to be the huge information moving forward here.
FaZe is completely distracted by everyone in the water. They can't do anything to go and help, so now it's Liquid being attacked by C9. We will see, and that is Liquid eliminated. Liquid is eliminated.
Liquid is going to be eliminated all the way down to 6th, and FaZe, they have the numbers and the kills available to get them way ahead in the standings here. We have one more game to go after this, but right now FaZe feeling very happy about their situation.
So FaZe is in position now to lock down this tournament as they clean out the water. Tempo Storm is also eliminated, and now it's going to be C9 and FaZe again in the top 2.
And really, I think FaZe would still be happy with the number 2 position if they do. Still with picking out so many kills along with C9. Looking for the second chicken dinner in a row and trying to get this onto the aggression into a roll. FaZe is going to be knocked by Moody, who has been on fire this entire tournament. And he's going to go for another kill. StarLadder is going to be knocked out. Mixie, can he finish it off for FaZe and pick up another chicken dinner for this team? And Mixie is on the better parts of the trade right now.
This is huge right now. He's just trying to hold Mixie, trying to distract him. He will get down by Moody. Now it's up to Jempty and C9
gets the kill.
No, FaZe! FaZe won.
FaZe, but Jempty got the kill onto the distance. He was so low on the health, and I was looking at you. I was looking at you as I said it. I was trying to get confirmation whether it was FaZe. But that huge trade difference with Jempty being clutch on the spot.
Oh my god, that was within one shot.
It really was, and that really one shot difference gets him another 50 points just for getting first instead of second. Now, in addition to getting so many kills, Team Liquid is just bashing on their heads right now, having such a great defensive position, but C9 ruined the party for them.
Oh my god, that was within, it felt like 1 HP between those two, that last shot, but FaZe essentially, I mean, locking up a very dominant position, but C9 and Liquid going out in 6th place. That is a complete, no short of a disaster for Liquid.
It really was. It could have been so much better. You talk about 6th place being out of the 3 teams that potentially could have got the win altogether, which was FaZe, C9, and Liquid. But Liquid did go down because the Sea Dogs, this fish, they were not wiped out before Liquid went out to C9. And you talk about the movement that allowed Liquid to get into a position. Samty getting knocked out first was a huge difference maker when they're trying to make that engagement between them and C9. But C9 coming up clutch, especially Moody on that damage chart.
So looking at the top 5, we go FaZe, C9, Entis, Tempo, and then